I was having this conversation with some family members the other day about how we kept recipes close knit, and that our my mother's generation and that generation before her, my grandmother's generation, they kept their recipes close to the vest because they were passed down orally. And what made me think about that was that lately I've been making a lot of tea cakes because sons and nieces and neighbors have been requesting them of me. And so I went down this little rabbit hole to try to get some history about all the different ways tea cakes were prepared. And I made some notes. I didn't realize that there were this many variations of tea cakes. There were butter tea cakes, there were lard tea cakes, there were shortening tea cakes, there were molasses tea cakes. Vanilla is the one that most of us love and enjoy. And then lemon, and then nutmeg, and then cinnamon spice, hand shaped or dropped tea cakes, thin, crisp ones. I've made thin ones and regular ones. And then the cake like thicker ones are the kind that I make now. And of course, buttermilk, that's how I use them. And pecans and ginger. I didn't know that. That's just a few that I found so far. I did not realize it was that many variations. But one of the things I also discovered was that, and I kind of knew this, is that, okay, you had grandmama and she did it her way. She didn't have any measurements. She just eyeballed everything and made the best tea cake you can even imagine. But the recipe was in her head, and so she passed it down to, say, my mother. And then my mother made her variations based on what she saw her mother, my grandmother, do. And she didn't pass hers down. You just watched as a little girl in the kitchen, and you just got it from watching so many times. And so that cycle kept going on and on and on. And now my generation and the generation that's come after me are trying to let us not forget these recipes, but there's still a group of people out there that want to hoard the recipes and hold on to the recipes for life because they feel like if I have this recipe and I can make this recipe, then I can always make some money off this recipe because I can sell the goods that I'm making with this recipe, or I can create a cookbook and make some money off this recipe. But recipes can be modified. So I am in the camp of sharing the recipes so the recipes don't get lost completely. Even if your mom or your grandmom did it different from my mom or my grandmom or my auntie or whoever, we still need to share these recipes and everybody can eat. Everybody can enjoy the benefits of these recipes. And that's kind of what I want to focus on. So I'm going to keep going down this little rabbit hole and learning more and more about the history of tea cakes. And the reason I chose tea cakes over any other, cookies, cakes, pies, or anything that I prepare is because I get so many requests to make tea cakes. I just had a niece just said, Auntie, I'm on my way over there to grab some tea cakes. Grab some tea cakes and they're out. These young people love this stuff. They love the nostalgia that comes along with these different recipes, but they also love the fact that the food is good. And it brings back memories of grandmama for them. And I know a lot of people can't relate to that when you're eating something, how it can remind you of an elder that prepared that food for you once, that the day you came home from school and you were tired and you had some tea cakes ready for you to eat with some milk or whatever. And so those recipes, in my view, are really, really vital that we keep, but we record and we share. Now, I know what happens online. Here's what happens online. You find something, it don't even have to be a recipe, it can be anything, and you share that thing for free. Inevitably, somebody's going to take it and try to make a buck off of it because I've seen people sell recipes, their own. Some people selling their own recipes for $1, $2, and then some people taking those people recipes and selling them for $5 and stuff like that. So that's going to happen, and you can't avoid that because you're going to have always have a segment of the population that does that. But even by sharing, if that means that more people get to experience this wonderful little cookie or whatever it is you're sharing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tea cake or something to eat. Whatever it is that you're sharing that was passed down. For example, it could be how your grandpa taught you how to change a tire. And so many people don't know how to change tires right now. And if you shared that skill through video with others online, you are teaching another generation. That's actually what I think is happening, is that you're being a blessing to someone. And whenever you're a blessing to someone without you even realizing it, I believe the blessings come right back to you. So I like to share stuff like this. So I'm going to keep going down this little tour that I'm taking through the tea cake history and see how they were made differently here and in other countries and things. One of the things that I did discover in one of my cookbooks was that back in the day, they used to have cookbooks that had a white version of tea cakes and a black versions of tea cakes. And what I noticed with those two recipes, the difference, if I remember correctly, I believe one used lard and one used butter, or one used molasses and one used sugar. And basically, it was based on what was the cheapest at that moment in time. So people knew how to take what they had available or what they could get economically and make, as my mama say, make a way out of no way, make something out of nothing. And that really did work for a lot of people. And so this tea cake little journey that I'm going down is exposing that to me, but it's also going to allow me to share more with you about the history and how they were made, how all of the recipes, well, a lot of the recipes are different, and how if you see my recipe, you may look at my tea cakes and say, well, my grandmother's tea cakes didn't look nothing like that. That doesn't mean that they weren't tea cakes, okay? Because there's so many different variations of them. And you just have to find the one that you like best, and then that becomes your recipe, and then you share it with the next generation so that everybody keeps hold of all of these recipes. So I was just thinking about that today after I had a little conversation with my niece and neighbors and stuff, and everybody else that has requested tea cakes of me. Stay tuned for more, because I'm going to go down this little rabbit hole a little more and make some more videos about it, because I think it's important. I think it's important to have the knowledge, and I think it's important to share. Y'all stay with me. Y'all go out and make it a great day, and I'll see y'all on the next video, okay? Bye now.